Everybody. So today's, do you know how um, women deal with the leadership? This has been a new thing for me, and I haven't seen women at all rebelling at the way management is looked at. Women are different, right? I can't believe that the world hasn't opened up for the women's perspective as yet when it comes to the managerial viewpoint. I have seen women excelling at managerial positions so many times, and they have their own way of dealing with things, dealing with their own mindset, dealing with people and everything. And uh, still, we only talk about management rule that are applicable to both men and women. So that surprises me. Let us see what I have discovered about myself. When women do, and most of the women in the US and other Western countries, those are women in managerial position, right? Now, if that is so, then why don't we have women perspective about managerial positions? Let me share the screen and discuss about whether you have thought about these things or not. How a woman uses 12 aspects of herself to conquer being defensive. Management or household? Household is the biggest thing, right? To manage. And even a man, highly educated in management studies, cannot handle a home when it comes to a home. Why? Because women are multifold, multitasking, multiple abilities, all of the things thinking at the same time. And it is not about only the literate women. I have worked in very remote areas, remote places in the country of India. And I have seen them working in the fields, no education at all. So once I was living in a very remote areas in the midst of a forest during 2011 to 2015, which I talk about as the Bandhavgarh livelihood projects so many times in my webinars. So there I lived in a farmhouse in the villages, which is very close by the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. And I was watching the farmers, the villagers from a very close quarter, how their life is. Two things that have come to my mind is I have watched only the women, mostly men also, but women, because those are the people I was dealing with. When the project started, it was basically the women to whom we have to reach out to because a lot of conflict going on amongst the men. Although all of them were at the same level, struggling for their livelihoods, but they wouldn't allow one person to get even a little ahead. And so we had to approach the ladies and form the groups. We started saving. So the discipline of the ladies helped us achieve the goal of giving them alternative solutions in 4 years of time. They became food sufficient. This couldn't have been possible without the women. And I won't blame the world for not looking at this aspect in the first place, because I myself, when I started coaching people online, I I I targeted the mid-career professionals, mostly men. While all the while, I have watched women from very close quarter, and it is them who made me successful, if at all I can be called successful. But that has given me a lot of satisfaction. Because of this, they have they have become more, so much so that I can't have the very very professional looking testimonials from them, because they are illiterate. They are staying in the uh, very distant forest. That doesn't mean that they are very different. They are the same. They think the same. One day I was watching, the lady had you know put put some seeds in water overnight. It was the seed treatment process she was doing. The next day at 10, by 10, these seeds should have been transferred to the nursery. That was the idea. So I was waiting till 9:45, 9:50, 9:55, nobody to be seen. Then I was wondering whether people have forgotten about this seed, which needs to be transferred to the, especially of this household, to the nursery. At sharp 9:58, this lady came and she transferred the seeds to the nursery. Whatever process had to be done. I was so surprised. She remembered. And it was, mm, she, she didn't know how to look at the clock, right? She didn't have that mechanism to look at the clock and work. She just did the things one after the other. One thing finished, the second thing, and she had two houses. One house, the farmhouse was at the nearby the farmland, and the other house in the village. So I was in the farmhouse, and the seed with water was kept at the farmhouse, and she did all our household work. She had a large joint family. She has to do several things, small children, grandchildren. She had taking care of them, taking care of her cows and buffaloes, all that she did. And she came in time to do the seeds as well. What do you call this incident? Is it not uh, the things, the management thing? So I have seen that in ladies working with me as well, and so many others as well who have succeeded. Whatever threatens a man is just obvious for a lady. Women are themselves, they have their own rules. And if you think that being defensive is something very negative, then think of Gavaskar. Before him, our team, Indian cricket team, was getting out within, say within 50 runs as well, because the opposition was too fearsome. And the fast bowling of West Indies was too fearsome. Even Pakistan, Australia, all all of those countries have fearsome fast bowler. When Gavaskar came, he stood there. He wouldn't get out. He would stand there for entire innings, frustrating the bowlers. So he started the winning streak. He might not have helped India win a lot of matches, but he also prevented India from having humiliating defeats. So it is very, very essential to be on the defensive. And to understand the way to be defensive is also something of a great realization. What we can do is defensive is not a negative thing. If you are not expressing yourself, if you are not articulating your not articulating, if you are not reacting, then defensive is not such a bad one. You are not reacting back with words, not with your body language, nothing. Women have different rules. Why will they follow the men's rules? Just think of this. Fear of criticism is one of the threats that men face. Yes, they would love to be forgiven for any mistake that might have happened. How does a woman thinks? They would like to be forgiven. Constructive feedback, if at workplace is given, then there should be a lot of love, appreciating the effort that will do magic for her. It is constructive feedback for men, and the way to take it is also the way to take it is very different for men as for the women. Women are very easy to be tackled. Not some not easy to come by, so she won't look for it after a while. Let the criticism stay. She does what she feel like. Fear of criticism, which constructive feedback, if doesn't come back, if it is not coming with love, then she won't look for it after a while. And she becomes nonchalant. Ego protection is another area where men fear to be to be guarding themselves. But for women, no. Instinctively, she knows to accept what was wrong. If she has done wrong, it is a solve for her. Deep humility is inborn and societal for our society. And once apology is submitted, it's time to move on. So she doesn't remember what has been there. And she is very docile. She understands things and moves on. Past experiences, for women, it stays longer. Processing happens when she expresses to somebody. She always tells it to somebody. And after some time, it doesn't matter. Because she has spoken out to somebody and processed it in this process. So it is gone from the heart as well, right? Insecurity, not easy to find the soul safety. Standing out seems a crime for even men to stay quiet. Self-confidence is never about being loud. So she is born into insecurity. But insecurity is a way of life for her. It is not threatening for her. But despite being insecure, she is self-confident. Fear of vulnerability, she doesn't bother how she would be treated because she is vulnerable all the while. Weakness is within her, physically, economically, and financially, socially also. Opening up to possibilities, it is never ending. So, of course, in a professional space, she now has learned to open up to more possibilities. But even then, even when it is her inborn quality to be okay with possibilities, and she always looks for some possibilities which is beyond the reality. The facts are not showing anything around the positivity, but she always can find out one. Lack of self-awareness. This is one thing which bothers to the men. But awareness is key to her, even if she is confident in the world. Introspection is her character. Showing tears in public makes her powerful. Fear of conflict. There is no expectation of conflict in the first place. There is always a way to agree. Have you seen women normally? to disagree. They agree. Of course, uh, they disagree on several points, but that is very friendly. The opinions have an end to the beginning. All disagreements are healthy if can be linked to the origin. So it starts from the origin, from where they have started, and they always end up in being agreeing in a very positive manner. Difficulty in handling emotion. If sad, it is tears. If angry, it is tears. If happy, it's tears again for women. So handling emotion is not an issue for her. She she overwhelm or shock is the expression. If emotions get uh, regulated in her, she is hardly herself. She is a very emotional person all the way. Need for control, a handful of them, all women have had exercised control and created history. Women, when they are given power, they have they have done marvelous. And she can define her space but hardly claims it. A lady hardly is very possessive about her space. Of course, she is restricted in her own little space, and she is very happy about that. That she can do despite no space assigned to her. She dodges uncertainty with sheer nonchalance. Something will happen tomorrow, not happen. All these things doesn't mean anything to her. Perceived judgment, very judgmental, which gives way to accepting variety in people she encounters. कभी भी अगर आपने एक लेडी को देखा होगा तो सी विल सडनली से समथिंग, वो तो ऐसा है, वो तो वैसी है. सो आई केम अक्रॉस दैट टेंडेंसी इन माई थिंग. सो व्हेन आई से वेरी शार्प थिंग, पीपल रिएक्टेड कि आप बहुत स्ट्रेट और बहुत तीखे से बोलते हो. देन आई रियलाइज कि अच्छा ऐसा होता है मुझे. सो दैट क्रिएट्स ए lot of conflict. People don't like that, and it also moves somebody even when the person is not a character in the same thing. It moves somebody. Now but what I learned from that is, अगर दूसरे लोगों को वो बिना उनका कुछ उसमें रोल है ना कुछ है, स्टोरी सुनते हुए भी उनको लगा कि दिस इज वेरी तीखा, तो मैं थोड़ा सा इसको चेंज कर लेती हूँ. एंड देन आई टेल इट, इस एंगल से भी उस एंगल से भी हमने देखा है इसका मतलब. तो समथिंग वेरी तीखा, अगर मैं कुछ बोल रही हूँ, it hurts other people as well. So why to say something like that, and why not process that particular तीखा feeling? वो तीखा फीलिंग जो है उसको प्रोसेस करके कैन आई नॉट से समथिंग वेरी पॉजिटिव so that it is not very destructive, it has to be very positive. The other person also learns from that, not just sweet coating but an alternative solution. It is not man woman, it has to be complement. So ऐसे कुछ करें जिससे ये कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री पोजिशन इवॉल्व हो जाए. अगर आपको डिस्टेंस ही करना है, that also with amicably you can just get out, withdraw yourself, and she can always, women can always help people, smile at people and not have any grudge against them. They don't have a law, चेस गेम नहीं होता उनके दिमाग में कि इस ये अच्छा ये इसके बाद दूसरा. ऐसा ऐसा बहुत कम. आजकल आप बहुत मतलब दैट इज अ वे ऑफ लाइफ ना, सिंपलिस्टिक होना. मेटेरियलिस्टिक अगर है तो आप बोल सकते हैं कि इसके बाद क्या करना है, उसके बाद क्या करना है, लोगों के दिमाग में चलता है. बट इन आवर सोसाइटी विच इज वेरी स्पिरिचुअलिस्टिक, यहाँ पे क्या है, यहाँ पे तो सारे लोगों को लेके हम लोग चलते हैं ना. ऑफ कोर्स आवर फैमिलीज हैव बिकम स्मॉलर, पर उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. स्मॉलर फैमिली में भी हमको हैप्पीनेस ही चाहिए, राइट. इंटेंशन होना, उसके इंटेंशन अगर है या फिर नहीं है, इंटेंशन के साथ वो चले, ऐसा कोई सोच ही नहीं सकता है। सो इंटेंशन, पर्पस, पर्पस के साथ, पर्पस या इंटेंशन, ये सब उसके साथ जोड़ा नहीं जाता। बट व्हेन शी स्टार्ट्स हैविंग ए पर्पस कि ये करना है, छोटा सा ही ड्रीम भले ही, बट दैट इज वन ड्रीम विथ विच बच्चे बड़े होते हैं तो क्या बोलते हैं, मेरी माँ ऐसे करती थी, बिकॉज मेरी माँ ने ऐसे किया, सो आई लर्न दिस। तो एक फ्यूचर को बनाया ना कंट्री का। सो इफ आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट ओनली मदर्स, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट वर्किंग वुमेन, उन्होंने आज क्या करना है, उसके बेसिस पे ही फ्यूचर सारा बनता है। एंड आई डोंट थिंक दे आर वेरी कैलकुलेटिव। वो अपना ब्रॉड है, अपना जो भी कुछ करना होता है वो इसी में कर लेती। उनको इतना जजमेंट से परेशान होना, थोड़ी देर के लिए परेशान तो सभी को ही होता है, व्हेन इट हिट्स यू, कुछ शौक आपको लगता है तो आपको तो बुरा लगता ही, बट हाउ लॉन्ग डज इट स्टे? क्या आपको प्रोसेस करने में, अगर इफ यू आर ए लेडी आपको बहुत देर लगता है? आई हैवंट सीन एनीबॉडी, आई डोंट फील लाइक दैट माई सेल्फ। सो पर्पस ऑफ कोर्स है, हम सबको एक पर्पस लेके चलना है, वेरी वेरी डिफाइंड पर्पस। तो उससे क्या होता है कि आपके रेजिस्टेंस पावर ज्यादा हो जाता है। आप किसी को बिना कुछ प्रूव किए भी आप बहुत सारा कुछ प्रूव कर सकते हैं ऑटोमेटिकली, ये हो जाता है। तो सेंस ऑफ पर्पस तो हमारे लाइफ में होना ही चाहिए। मिसकम्युनिकेशन कहाँ है? कम्युनिकेशन में से सुपर 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 स्ट्रॉन्ग। तो वुमेन को कम्युनिकेशन का प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है। ओ, उनको इंग्लिश आए चाहे ना आए, व्हाई? बिकॉज दे आर एबल टू कम्युनिकेट इन सेवरल वेज। बॉडी लैंग्वेज होता है, क्लैरिफिकेशन इज अपेरेंट, मतलब बहुत दिल के साफ होते हैं तो ये सामने तो झलकता ही है, उसमें वर्ड लगा के बोलना क्या। सो टुडे ओनली आई वाज गोइंग टू एन एक्सरसाइज ऑफ ब्लेयर सिंगर, और उसमें उन्होंने बोला कि इन इन ए ब्रेकआउट रूम यू पीपल आर नॉट गोइंग टू टॉक, जस्ट लुक एट ईच अदर एंड थिंक वॉट एवर यू आर थिंकिंग। सो व्हेन those people came out of the breakout room, and it was very suddenly I had joined very late into that program, and I saw this exercise. Don't you think that it was meant to be seen by me? क्योंकि मुझे आज ये वीडियो आपके लिए करना है। What I am saying is, think about whatever you are thinking. क्या बोला उन लोगों ने पता है? जो दो लोग ब्रेकआउट रूम में थे, दे ओनली सॉ देयर नेम बिकॉज वो नाम दिखता है। दे वर नॉट स्पीकिंग टू ईच अदर, दे ओनली वर लुकिंग एट ईच अदर, स्माइलिंग मे बी। और आने के बाद, ब्रेकआउट रूम से आने के बाद, द एंटायर टाइम दे डिडंट स्पीक टू ईच अदर। वन ऑफ दैट पर्सन सेज कि the other person's name was Shiva, and this person was Subrat. Subrat was saying Shiva was an intensely great gentleman. He had achieved such huge things in his life, and he is thinking of giving more, even more, and so many other things he told. And Blair Singer was asking him, so you understood all this without even speaking to him? So these two people were students. They were students into that program, right? Participants in that program. So they didn't know each other. They didn't know each other. Still, they could, from the smiles, they could learn so many things about each other. So do you think that language is essential? A smile also can speak. And who understands this better? Women. Even though, and it is a very feminine kind of quality maybe, and management formulas are slowly inculcating and bringing in all these formulas to the management principles. But this has been an age-old behavioral principle that women adopt. And they know without, of course, they can't stay without speaking for long. बिना बात किए लेडीज कितनी देर तक चुपचाप रह सकती? मैं ऑफ कोर्स रहती हूँ, बट इवन देन व्हेन वी गेट टू स्पीक, बहुत ही फेमिलियर कोई फेस अगर मिल गया जिसके साथ बात करने का ही मन करता है, तो आप बात करना शुरू करते हो, राइट? उसमें मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग का स्कोप किधर आता है? रिजिड बिलीफ, सिस्टमेटिक, इंट्यूटिव एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग है वुमेन का बिलीफ सिस्टम। और इसमें अपना कितना है कन्विक्शन, वो उनको उसके बारे में उनको नहीं समझ। उनको ये पता है कि when they have strong conviction about somebody, then it is the ultimate. They have that intuition, right? Anything but real. A mistake here there हो सकता है क्योंकि the other person is not making this thing verbally, right? So हो सकता है, but there is a possibility, क्योंकि आज जो बंदा बहुत ही पूरा हार्ड रुखा और वैसे है, he has a possibility to change. कल को वो चेंज भी हो सकता है, कोई लर्निंग आ जाएगी उसके लाइफ में, कोई सिचुएशन आ जाएगी जिसकी वजह से उसको झुकना पड़ेगा, तो वो चेंज तो होगा ना। सो आई थिंक women give this chance to everybody around, and this makes them a leader of their kind only. ये हर किसी के बस की बात नहीं होती है, एंड इवन बिटवीन टू women वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल ये डिफर करता है in their styles. It depends on their own background, but it is again very different. So these are the learning that I had, and I would like you all to love this peace of mind and comment below this video, and also give me questions to answer to, so that I can make better videos in future. And for your information, I have been seeing lot of management tricks and tips in LinkedIn, and when I see them, I also figure out that those are not very women centric, and I feel different as a manager. So I'll bring out those perspectives. I see all the women also having different perspectives. So I'll bring out those perspectives as soon as I see a perspective from a men point of view. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Thank you.